Hey guys, Miss Sewing here, and in this review video, we're going to talk about the Cold War and what we were all fighting about. So the Cold War, as you can see, lasts for quite a long time, right after World War II to 1991, a year before I was born. Whoops. This is a conflict that's not actually a war. There's not actual fighting. We're not actually shooting at each other. It's a little bit different, and we see from our flags here who the sides of the war or conflict is. Of course, there's the United States, us, and also the Soviet Union, which, as you guys might remember, is called Russia today. So what the heck are we fighting about for all of those many years? Well, the heart of the Cold War is about government and how we're going to govern our countries. And the thing that the United States is concerned about is the way the Soviets run their country, and it's a form of government called communism. It's very different than what we do here in the United States, which we would call a capitalist country or a democracy. In communism, things work a little different. Here are resources like factories and farms, things that produce goods. They're owned not by individual people, but by the government. So the government has that power to run and control how factories and farms are operating, and then all that wealth, all that money is split. And these resources can be split by need. For example, if I have a family of 12, I'm going to need more food than a family of 2. I've got this little, I don't even know what to call it, this cow right here. He's a visual representation of communism. In a system like communist, if you owned this cow, call him Jerry, the government would just take it and give you some of the milk that it produces. You don't own the cow. You don't get to decide how much milk you have. It's up to the government. So again, very different system than the US uses, which is capitalism. So hopefully it is becoming a little bit more clear, the two sides of the Cold War. We have on one side the Soviets, who use a communist system, and on the other we have America, the US, who uses either democracy or capitalism. Both words or terms describe us. You might be asking yourself at this point, why does the US even really care what the government of the Soviet Union is? They're their own country. It's not really our business. But we got to keep in mind what was going on historically. And at this point of time in the late 1940s, the United States is really concerned that communism would spread. And it was our policy at the time to have a containment policy. And in the word containment, we have the word contain, which tells you what this policy was all about. It's about stopping. It's about preventing. And of course, the goal here, what we are preventing, is communism. We are concerned that if the Soviets stay communist, they're going to influence other people and other governments nearby. We have this political cartoon on the right, which has, I don't know, a squid or an octopus, not really sure, with the hammer and sickle right here, which is the sign of communism. And as you can see, this animal, it's growing, it's reaching, it's touching all of these other places. And this is our concern. Soviets are one thing, but the whole world being communist is another. Let's look at a conflict that happened during the Korean War that did become a military conflict, that did see sides fighting each other with traditional weapons, and that is the Korean War. So from 1950 to 1953, there was this conflict between two sides of the same country. We have North Korea, who is a communist country and is still communist today, and South Korea, which is democratic. So here are two sides of the same country fighting about communism, and we have the same players coming out, right? The same guys we've been talking about this whole time, the United States and the Soviet Union. We each pick our side. The United States is going to support the democracy. Soviets are going to support the communist government. And so here's another example of why is the US bothering to get involved with the Korean War? Korea is not close to us. It's not our business. But containment. We want to contain, we want to stop communism. And so we get involved in this conflict anyway.